What is going on, everybody? It's the Confronts, and we're here for AEW on TNT review for November the 25th, 2020. Happy Turkey Day Eve. We are on our way to next week's episode. Winter is coming. Winter is coming is going to be the biggest episode of AEW in its year-plus history. Now, yes, I wish next week's episode was a packed house, Daly's Place, Madison, anywhere they could be, any arena they could be, full packed house, but you know everything that's going on right now. But AEW is making do with what they have. The next week should be one hell of a show. We do find out majority of the card tonight, and tonight's show was a hell of a show. We start off with Hangman Page versus John Silver. This one is pretty much coming. This one's been building, I think, for a while. First off, I gotta say, John Silver has been such a, he is from last year when him and Alex Reynolds made their debut. And they were the Beaver Boys. They were doing nothing. They were jobbers. They were losers. They joined the Dark Order. They were just minions. They were another bunch of minions to Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and that's all they were. Then Brody Lee comes in. He becomes the Exalted One. They add 5, 10, and a J, 99, and I think one more. And they've been on BTE. And John Silver has become a breakout star of the Dark Order. This guy he's great in the ring. His ring, he is, for his size, pound for pound, a very strong, one of the strongest men in AEW. But his charisma, his comedy is on point. The guy can go in the ring. He takes on Adam Page in this match. And he hangs with Adam Page. He does try to recruit Adam Page. He does, want a fist bump. He actually, in the match, gives him a smack on the ass for whatever reason, which Hangman actually laughs about. So, these two are out here having themselves one hell of a match. Page is looking for a buckshot Lariat Silver versus that into a Hurricane Rana. I think he goes for a pin there for a 2 count. Silver with a flurry moves, finishing with a brainbuster, gets it 2. Silver with some kicks to the chest. Page asks for more as he stands up. Page takes an elbow to the jaw, more kicks, but Page then turns Silver inside out. Liger Bomb, cover 2. Page hits the buckshot lariat, gets a 3 count. Now, Page won this match, but John Silver took him to the limit and gave him one hell of a fight. This was by far, I think, one of the best matches John Silver has been in his AEW career. So, it's not going to probably happen anytime soon, but by this time next year, if the Dark Order is still a thing, John Silver will probably not be in the Dark Order. He'll probably be on his own. Future TNT champion in the works? Most likely. World champion? Maybe not, but definitely could see him rocking the TNT championship. 100%. After the match, out comes the Dark Order. It looks like they might do what they've done before to Adam Page and attack him. But they go and help John Silver up. Evil Uno says, Page, listen, man. We're not here to attack you. I know we have in the past. But you were a part of one of the biggest groups ever. And you tried to leave. And they just wouldn't let you. If that's not a cult, I don't know what is. He says if Page wants to join them, he and his friends are here. He says if you're interested, you know where to find them. And they all leave. Page is standing there. It looks like he's thinking about it. Though, he tried for months. Remember, last year, it was sometime before him and Kenny Omega became a team. He talked to the Young Bucks and was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go on my own for a while, and I'm going to do my own thing. I don't really want to be in the elite right now. So, he tried the elite last year, and they were the Bucks were not having that. He ended up being forced to, he was set into a match with Kenny Omega. They won the tag team titles. They held him from the Cruise, the Jericho Cruise, all the way to All Out this year, and here you go. Now he is going to he lost the Eliminator Tournament finals, as we all knew he was going to. And now the Dark Order is picking this back up. If you actually watched an episode of BTE about I think it was like 5 months ago or so, maybe 4 months ago, whenever it was, Brody Lee and him cross paths. And Hangman Page tells Brody Lee that, I actually went to your website and I tried to join, but nobody got back to me. And Brody's like, we still have opportunities if you like it. He's like, you know what, man? I'm good now, but, yeah. And of course, Brody Lee goes back to his Dark Order's members and berates them, hits John Silver with his papers, as he usually would, and lets them notice that we could have had Hangman Page in our grasp, and you guys failed me. So, this is getting interesting, and maybe we'll see a payoff of that. Backstage, Kenny Omega is with Alex Marvez about tonight's contract signing. We only had one half of the contract signed last week simply because Mr. John Moxley was taken out. And John Moxley didn't get to sign, so Kenny Omega had to, he signed the contract and was saying that John Moxley made excuses. He was making excuses, but he's not going to get out of this one. But it's better if Kenny Omega talks this time. So here is Kenny Omega with Alex Marvez.
Omega on last week's AEW Dynamite. Supposed to be the contract signing, you and John Moxley for next week's AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. Unfortunately, it never takes place. Mox viciously attacked backstage, never made it to the ring. Hopefully this thing gets signed, sealed, and delivered tonight. Your thoughts on everything that's happening?
See, after an uneventful week last week, it's given me a lot of time to reflect. And even though it may sound just a little cliched, I've come to the conclusion that, quite simply put, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Now, if I reflect a year ago, almost to the date, I was nursing injuries that I incurred from you, John. Yeah, we had a match. I lost. I can admit it. I can change. Fast forward the clock now to present time. We're about to do the dance again. Things stay the same. The only difference now is that instead of me, I see your face plastered everywhere on pro wrestling magazines. I see people calling you the best in the world. Things change. But then, after the Eliminator title tournament, suddenly my name is brought back up. Suddenly it's the return of the cleaner, the return of the best bout machine, the return of the true best in the world. See, John, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And the common thread that binds us is what you have and what I don't. That is the AEW Championship. And for a year, I have struggled, and I have clawed, and I have scraped my way back up to the top to be taken seriously again. And it isn't until I get your belt that people start really considering me as being the best. So, John, I wouldn't consider it a stipulation. It's just a gentleman's challenge. Just for one night only. Damn it. Please, leave the garbage wrestling at home. No tables, no chairs, no garbage cans, no thumbtacks. You want to be the best? Beat me in the middle of the ring. Pin me, make me submit, hell, choke me out. But do it based on your ability. I'll be waiting in the ring for your response, John. Goodbye, good night, all that stuff. Let's sign that contract. Oh, I almost forgot, John. Yes, you are a good guy. And congratulations. Also, listen to that childhood story of yours. It really tugged at my heartstrings. I really hung on to every word, and I believed every last bit of it. But the thing is, thinking back, I don't think your dad was really that tough at all. In fact, I'd go so far as to say, Alex, my dad would probably beat the shit out of your dad. Goodbye, John. Good night.
Whoa. Personal it gets right there. Oh, and John Moxley would have a response, but god damn, that was a hell of a promo by Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega, since dropping the tag team titles, has gotten out of just, dressing casually in his wrestling gear when he's not wrestling. He's got the suit, he's got the tie, the shades, like the deep shades. This dude is as heel is going to get. My goodness. But yeah, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega is happening next week. But will we sign the contract? We will talk about that later. Let's see here. Darby Allin video, we see Darby Allin trashing a car and spraying painting "Survive If I Let You" on it. Allin then lights a trail of gas and sets the car on fire. He poses with his TNT title as the car burns behind him. Now, if anybody watched last week's episode of AEW, you saw that Will Hobbs turned heel, joined Team Taz, and is now a muscle for Team Taz, which, yes, Team Taz has two big boys and Ricky Starks. But now, WWE is not the only show or the only company making name changes, because it's no longer Will Hobbs, it's Powerhouse Hobbs. Who in the blue hell came up with that? I really, really, really don't know. That was terrible. That's a terrible name. Well, he goes up against Big Shotty Lee Johnson, the member of the Nightmare family, which, okay, that's something we need to go with. So, yeah. It's not that long of a match. The match goes maybe 3 minutes at the most. So, Taz was on commentary for this match. Like I said, match didn't last very long. Johnson got no offense on this guy. And Hobbs wins the match. Not a big fan of the Powerhouse name. If it was Powerhouse Will Hobbs, I would be fine with it because it's a nickname. But changing his name from Will Hobbs to Powerhouse Hobbs, like, really? Lame ass shit. Well, Taz, when he came out, had the FTW Championship with him. After the match, he comes to the ring and is like, man, the other two are celebrating. Hobbs, you go celebrate. I got some business to take care of. Hobbs leaves, and this is what Taz has to say.
I got a problem, and the problem is this right here, this FTW Championship, and this company, AEW, okay, is not acknowledging what this championship is. I am sick and tired of Team Taz being disrespected. I am sick and tired of the FTW lifestyle, namely this FTW title, not being recognized in this company. I am not going to deal with it anymore. So therefore, I'm not leaving this ring until somebody from management gets their ass out here and takes this championship and makes it mean something right here in this company. Because there's a legacy behind this. There's a reason why men, tough bastards, hold this. So I need somebody from management to come out here right now and tell me why.
They cut his mic. Yes, they're going with the cut mics angle here.
Mike's been cut. Oh, God. Well, he's hijacked the show, is what he's done.
Justin, get up. Get up! Give me your freaking mic. Now, give me your mic. Give me your mic.
Good thing Dr. Sampson's nearby. Yeah, you know, Justin almost had a heart attack.
Okay. Hey, Keith Mitchell, Tony, you guys shut this mic. I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to take my ass over to that announce desk. Okay, what I'm going to do at that announce desk is I'm going to grab one of those headsets, which you won't cut that off. I know how things work here. This ain't my first rodeo. I'll take one of those announcer cans.
All right, I understand.
Well, that didn't take long.
Has asked our producer, Keith Mitchell, to cut Taz off. Took a barrel and struck stick, man. Well, Taz pushing his own agenda here, guys, unscheduled. And Tony now just informed me that we're going to be asking Taz to leave the ring.
What are we doing here? Are you done? You guys give Taz a round of applause. He's done. Thank you. He's done. All right. I'm coming out of here out of total respect. Total respect. Let's just move on because you're wasting time. You're wasting time, and next week Next week, we can just leave it all right here. We can settle it because next week, it is Ricky Starks and it is your new cohort, Will Hobbs, against myself and Darby Allin. Is that good enough? Are you happy with that?
Let me tell you something. I'm out here for a reason. Next week, the same thing's gonna happen that happened last week. Okay, you and Darby will get whooped. Okay, but that's not my reason for being here. I need one of you management people to take that FTW championship and give it the respect it deserves. Put some respect on that. I'm tired of this shit.
Okay. Someone from management is here. I hear what you're saying. I'm digesting it all. I see the FTW championship. How about this? I'll run it up the flagpole.
What are you gonna do next, Cody? Tell me creative has nothing for me? Any more of that corporate bullshit? What are you gonna tell me? What are you gonna tell me that? You're gonna tell me I wish me best of luck in my future endeavors? Is that what you're gonna do next? Huh? Is that what you're gonna do next?
Okay. So this means everything. I get it, right? FTW is so wonderful. It's so wonderful. Well, answer me this. Your son Hook, he's training to be a pro wrestler, right? Why the hell is he not training with you, but he's training with me?
Ooh, the dagger right there. That's not a good thing.
I think we're done.
I can't believe you did that. I'm shocked. You're pathetic. You went too far. That was stupid. You know, that was stupid. That was stupid.
He's putting him in the Taz mission.
Taz Newton is going to choke him out. He's sinking it in. He needs some help. Cody's face turning very red. The Gun Club is coming. Gun Club's coming to the aid of Cody. Taz just choked out Cody Rhodes right here on AEW Dynamite. Taz snapped. And that's Taz's son carrying the FTW title. That's his son, Hook, that he talked about at that.
Okay, let's talk about this a bit. So, one, I did not know Taz had a kid. That's cool and everything. Two, his name is Hook. Wow, I don't know if that's his actual name or if that's just his professional wrestling name, which, okay, fine, whatever. Three, where is this going to go with Taz and Cody? Taz can't wrestle. Taz has been retired since 2001. Impact Wrestling had Taz as a member of the Aces of Eights all those years ago. And all Taz could be was a mouthpiece and maybe put the Taz mission on somebody every once in a while. Taz can't wrestle, so I don't see really the point of having Taz get physical with Cody. Taz could be the guy barking orders to a Will Hobbs or a Ricky Starks or a Brian Cage. But that's about it. There's nothing else really he can do. So I just don't know what else they can say. That's just it's just I don't know what else they could do. I don't know where this is going with Taz. Like, is it his son? I mean, they mentioned his son. Maybe his son's gonna be the one making his debut on behalf of his father. I just don't know. That, like, the whole son thing, that was going a little far for Cody. But, yeah, it's just, there's a lot to think about this and where they're going to go with this, because, like I said, it's really hard to, like, digest anything with Taz being on the physical side of thing and trying to see where they're going to go with this, for the simple fact is, Taz cannot wrestle. Him putting the Taz mission on Cody, it looks awesome. It's a nice pop for people who watched ECW, who watched his stuff that he got to do in WWE. It's a nice nostalgia pop, but that's all it is. Taz can't wrestle unless he had some kind of, like, major back surgery and is working in the gym and stuff to get himself back into shape. I just don't see where they can go with this for Taz. I mean, if you're gonna have somebody like a Taz go out there and attack Cody, you honestly think that it's gonna be Taz versus Cody in some kind of match. That's where you feel they're going to go, but I just don't see that's where they're going. I don't know where they're going. That's the problem. So, there's that. Now, they did not upload the Kenny and Eddie Kingston promo, which was the very next thing, if I'm correct. Yeah, Marvez is backstage with Eddie, asking about the Death Triangle reforming with Penta and Phoenix leaving the family. He's really disappointed in Penta, but Phoenix leaving didn't surprise him at all. He tells Pac that things have changed since he was around here. Things aren't over until he says so. Jonathan shows up. They stop talking. Kingston tells Moxley he knows it wasn't me. But you know who it was. I got my own stuff to deal with. You have your own stuff to deal with, champ. And walks off. So, obviously, we'll find out in a bit who Jon Moxley blames for the sick attack, the vicious attack on him last week that left him laying. Top Flight versus the Hybrid 2. This match is because of what happened last week on TV after the Young Bucks match, and what happened last night on Dark, where the Hybrid 2 were attacked by Top Flight. So, this was great. Now, I gotta say one thing about AEW is that, yes, we know you have the most stacked tag team division in the company. But we don't have to have 20 tag team matches within a month. I mean, yes, WWE, lacking on their tag team divisions on the main roster, and having maybe one tag team match that means anything once a month is one thing, but you just continue to stack this shit over and over and over, and it's like, what are we doing here? Give me something else. Give me some triple threats. Give me some fatal four-ways, something. I don't know. But it's like tag team matches. We see way too many of them. But again, this was a really good match. I believe they said somewhere that the Top Flight was signed by AEW. I haven't really paid attention or haven't really looked up AEW on Twitter or anything. But yeah, if they are signed, they are going to be in the, when the Young Bucks go away and they retire, they call it a career. When TH2 retires and calls it a career, because they are not spring chickens. Jack Evans has been around for 15 plus years. I believe Angelico's been around for 10 years. When SCU both call it a career, because let's face it, I'm pretty sure Kazarian and Daniels are on their last year and a half. And when all these older aging tag teams call it a career, teams like Private Party, like Top Flight, are going to be the ones anchoring this division for the next 10 years. Plain and simple. By the time we get to 2030, if we still have a United States by then, just saying, not saying anything that's going to happen in the next 4, 5, 6 years or so, but I'm just saying, you never know what happens. 10 years is a long time. Anything can happen. Aliens could come down. We could have a huge eruption. You don't know. Anything can happen. Not trying to think of any conspiracy theories, but I'm just saying. So, assisted 450 splash by onto Dante. Dante and Darius, nice names. Cover 2, code red by Angelico. On Angelico, cover 2. Evans breaks up the pin. Darius taken out to the floor. Angelico with a twisting leg submission, which I don't know what they called it. Dante finally taps out. After the match, Angelico refuses to let go of the submission while Jack Evans keeps the referee away. The Young Bucks come out and stop and break this up. So obviously, going into it's not going to be at When Is This Coming, but soon, the next challengers for the AEW Tag Team Championships are going to be the Hybrid 2. Will they win? Most likely not. But that is going to be the Young Bucks' next challengers. Well, the first challenge, I should say. Backstage, Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero talk about the nepotism. Guerrero says that's practicing of somebody with power, influence, using it to help their friends and family. Gee, Vicky, you know all about nepotism. Remember your time as Edge's wife and all that stuff? Yeah. But yes, nepotism, she says, that's pretty much what Brandy's doing. Like Big Swole and Red Velvet, Vicky says Rose and Jade Cargill do what they want on their own. It looks like Brandy's business plan isn't working out. And she says, if you need any help, any pointers, call me. And then she does her cringeworthy laugh. Then we have FTR. They didn't upload this one either, which I'm kind of disappointed. Because FTR is like, yeah, that was supposed to be the dream match. What happened at Full Gear, that was supposed to be the dream match. It was supposed to be the match that everybody was going to talk about, and then it was the worst night in their careers. They need to be the tag team champions. They are destined to be tag team champions again. And they pretty much tell the Young Bucks that they are going to be coming for those tag team titles. Not now, but eventually. I'd say the next time we see the Young Bucks and FTR will be at Revolution or Double or Nothing. One of those two. Jericho and Jake Hager versus Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. Every member of the Inner Circle is out there. And it was at this time, I didn't notice it before, but it was at this time I noticed in the left lower third, in the left, that they were showing, like, if you watch an MMA fight or a boxing match or one of those type of things, you'll see this little square that has like challenge, like Fighter 1 and Fighter 2 going at each other. Like it shows their name, and it has a little square beside it that has the color of tights they're wearing. And that person happened to, and they just happened to do that for this match. And I thought, oh, it's something they're trying out. Then I see it in the Sheeta match. And then I think I saw it in the Death Triangle match. I could be wrong, but yeah. I noticed it. I'm like, what is this shit? It's like, I know they want to go be like have a real sports feel, but I think that's a little overdoing it. But yeah, and the thing of it is, it's like, they have it there, but you don't have the commentators even mention it. So I don't know if it was something that they threw in there last minute, or the commentator just didn't know. That's something they need to work out on. So this match was, I even parlayed this out on Parler, that it's 3 old men and a Hager trying to have an interesting match. This was a hell of a match, though. Like, this was the first time, and they mentioned it too, the first time Jericho and Christopher Daniels have ever met up in a match. Same thing with Jericho and Kazarian. But they have this match, but everyone just going everywhere, beating the hell out of each other. Everyone, like the Dark Order, the Inner Circle's all out there. MJF, everybody. There was a point, like when the match first started, that Sammy Guevara, I'm sorry, not Sammy Guevara, Santana Ortiz and Sammy all get down from the ring, and they turn, and they're having words with the Gun Club. Of course, the Gun Club is part of the Nightmare family. So I could see sometime soon the Gun Club taking on those three, on the Sammy Guevara and Proud and Powerful. Also, it was announced it was either during this match or after this match, that Sammy Guevara and MJF will be in the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royale next week. Of course, if you don't know, that ring that MJF carries around, he won a match coming from the Battle Royal last year. Here's my thoughts on this. Sammy, if they do it like they did last week, where you have the final two will be a part of a match the week after, with the winner getting the ring, Sammy is going to cost MJF his ring. Sammy Guevara is in that match. He's going to cost MJF the ring. Sammy Guevara could possibly, and this is what I'm thinking about this, Sammy Guevara could possibly be one of the final two. Sammy Guevara wins the match that gets the ring, and then MJF has to give and hand over the diamond ring to Sammy Guevara. And this is going to start the build towards their feud, and eventually I think is going to be the exit of Sammy Guevara from the Inner Circle. They teased it with him and Matt Hardy, and how he needs to get away from Jericho. Maybe this is the start of that, because please, do you really think MJF is going to want to be second fiddle to Jericho in the Inner Circle? No. He's going to destroy the Inner Circle from the inside out. Breaking away Sammy Guevara is part 1. And that's going to happen next week. I just feel like that's where they're going to go. Sammy Guevara, what I think is going to happen is that MJF, it's not even going to be something he does on purpose. Like, MJF is on the apron, and he staves off elimination, turns to the crowd, to the camera, and points like does the whole "I'm smarter than everybody." He's pointing his head. Sami's gonna get pushed into MJF. MJF's gonna fall down, and he's gonna be cost the ring because of Sammy Guevara. I don't think Sami's gonna do it on purpose because that'd be way too obvious. So I think that's where they're gonna go with that. But things are getting heavy in this match. Daniels goes up top tries for the diving crossbody, gets a 2. He hits the BME. I think it was... No, it was a diving crossbody, never mind. Tags in and runs... Jericho tags in and runs over Daniels, looks for a suplex, but Daniels flips out and lands in boots. And Hager diving flatliner goes for the best moonsault ever. Hits it, cover 2. Jericho stops the count. Frankie Kazarian throws a shot in Jericho's face, but referee shoves Frankie into his corner. MJF punches Daniels. I got this messed up. It's actually, I think you hit Frankie Kazarian, whichever one. Hits one of the members for the diamond ring. Jericho lands the Judas effect. 1, 2, 3. Jericho and Jake Hager get the win. After the match, Frankie Kazarian sucker punches your boy MJF, and it's a 7-on-1 beatdown. Scorpio Sky runs out with one measly chair, and the entire group runs. So there was that. This, of course, is far from over. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Kip Sabian and Miro are about to do a new segment, a video game extravaganza with an Xbox Series X. It was either an X or an S. I don't know. I don't know if it was the short one or the tall one. They're about ready. They're like, we're going to show you our screen. Orange Cassidy walks in, clicks the button to turn it off, walks out. They come out and follow. They get jumped by the best friends. They're brawling. And you have... The last thing you see is like Miro grabbing the camera. It's like, get out of the way, shaking it. So this, of course, feud is not done yet. I just have a feeling they're gonna have some kind of goofy arcade style match to end this thing. So we get to the contract signing. Kenny Omega, of course, is introduced first. Now, I think it was a week or so ago, the Wrestling Observer newsletter awards came out, and Hall of Fame came out, and Kenny Omega was inducted into that Hall of Fame. Jim Cornette was not happy about this. Jim Cornette went on a tirade, apparently. I haven't heard it, but apparently he went on a tirade bitching at Dave Meltzer because he is a fanboy of Kenny Omega, apparently. Of course, if anybody doesn't know, at one time, surprisingly, Jim Cornette was a part of Ring of Honor doing booking for them. And Kenny Omega was technically on their roster. I heard this story from Jim Cornette, so that's what I'm going to talk about. And Kenny Omega was scheduled for a show. Right before the show was supposed to happen, Kenny Omega sends Cornette a picture of a fucked up, infected foot, saying this was his foot. Saying he can't wrestle, he can't do this because of what happened here. Jim Cornette talks to Delirious, and because they were booking at the time, is like, look, this is what happened with Kenny, he can't go, we're going to need to get a replacement. Turns out Kenny was lying because he didn't want to work that show. Goes to Japan, works a match, and that's pretty much pissed off Jim Cornette, and he hates Kenny Omega simply because of it. Also, the fact that he wrestled a blow-up doll and a 9-year-old girl in Japan in DDT wrestling, but of course Jim Cornette doesn't get DDT wrestling. But during the introduction that Justin Roberts has been doing, he's pounced off that Kenny Omega is a Wrestling Observer Hall of Famer. He was voted by his peers, and he just, the way he described it, it's like they're definitely taking a shot at Jim Cornette. And I know that the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, could not wait to take a shot at Jim Cornette. Anyway, so Kenny Omega is in the aisleway, waiting for his grand entrance. You see the girls dancing, who went from wearing bikinis to these 90s or 80s, these 80s workout suits over the last few weeks. Someone walks up behind him. Obviously, it's Jon Moxley. And he just whacks him and beats the living shit out of him. The girls run for their lives. Moxley throws Kenny Omega through the paper thing.
Omega's waiting in the tunnel. Moxley just bludgeoning him. Right hands, and it's very clear that Moxley blames Omega for that assault last week. Boy, Omega's getting woodshedded in the worst way by the AEW World Champion.
By the way, Tony Schiavone, who the fuck told you to wear pink dress pants with a black dress coat? What, if you're gonna go pink, go 100% pink. I'm just saying.
And what condition will Omega be in next Wednesday?
Moxley grabbed the title was on a table. Moxley threw him over that. Moxley grabs the title, puts it in front of Omega, who's crawling to try and get up. Puts his hand on his foot, puts his foot on his hand as he smashes it.
Gentleman indeed is Jon Moxley, and he is the champ.
Gentlemen's agreement. Right. I don't know who you hired to take me out last week, but they did a pretty piss poor job. I'm still walking. Next time you want to put a head out on somebody, give me a call. I'll hook you up with some guys from Philadelphia. They do great work. I thought our beef was squashed 1 year ago, and then you had to go and piss me off.
Don't ever piss off Jon Moxley.
But don't worry. Consider us even. See, Kenny, there's only one way to become AEW World Champion. I've made sure of that. I've protected this championship. The only way that you become AEW World Champion is you dig down deep into your guts and you find the Kenny Omega that everybody thinks you are. You're gonna have to climb a mountain that nobody's been able to climb in 18 months. You gotta beat me. On December the 2nd, 1 week from tonight here on TNT, the biggest match in AEW Dynamite history. The two best wrestlers on the planet tangle for the World's Championship. God, I love this shit! Win, lose, or draw. Winter is coming for you, Kenny. Because this is not a game. This is not jokes on BTE. This is not dancing girls with brooms. When you come at the king, you best not miss, because I don't take prisoners.
Also, I just noticed this when I'm watching this back. Did Jon Moxley get a tattoo on his hand? Because I see the hand he's holding the mic in, there's an R on his hand. I never noticed before when he's done promos before.
Steady your hand. Aim. And take your shot, Kenny. Because you're only going to get one.
It might be for his wife.
Now Moxley looking to sign the contract that Omega signed last week. Jon Moxley now finally putting pen to paper.
Thank you, Tony.
The violent gentleman Jon Moxley has just made it official.
And it is official for next week. We have, he said, the biggest match in AEW TV history. I think it's the biggest match in the company's history. Jon Moxley, the absolute best violent man in the world, versus the previous best bout machine and somebody who is still trying to prove himself on American soil as being one, if not the best out there. So this should be a hell of a match. No tables, no bounty, no nothing. That's it. We'll see what happens next week. It's going to be great. Then they say, we're going to head it back to Alex Marvez and the leader of the Inner Circle. Now, pay attention to this because they said the leader of the Inner Circle. And before Alex Marvez can say anything, MJF takes the mic and says, what kind of man sucker punches another man? That coward, Frankie Kazarian. And I'm thinking, they're really, really, really just throwing that signal there that MJF is pushing to become the leader of the Inner Circle. It might not be anything, but to me, it's one of those things that's like, here's the leader of this group, and then the person who's not the leader talks first. So, there's that. And then, of course, Jericho's talking about winning fair and square fight. This coward decided to sucker punch this man, MJF. And that next week, it's going to be, for the first time, 1-on-1 with the Demo God. Frankie Kazarian will take on Chris Jericho 1-on-1 for the first time ever. And that is going to happen next week. Video package of Anna Jay versus Hikaru Shida. Jay says that when they first met, she was a rookie and had a group, and now has a group supporting her. She's a different person. Shida notes that her knee is fine after her last match. Tay Conti, who is sitting beside Jay, talks about their friendship and says Jay is going to be the next champion. Shida tells Jay to bring it. If you need all these, and Shida also is like, if you need all these people around you to help you win, then what have you even learned? Losing is a learning experience. Absolutely 100%, by the way. Hikaru Shida versus Anna Jay with Tay Conti, AEW Women's World Championship. 5'4", 5'10", and John Silver standing on the stage after Tay Conti and Anna Jay come out together by themselves. And one of the men has their arm behind their back. I can't tell which one is 5 and 10. I'm just 10 and 5. I don't remember which one's which because they're wearing the same white colored mask for some reason. I don't know. And 10 used to have a big jacket, but I guess he lost the right to that. He had a Brody Lee coat on, and he doesn't have it anymore. So one of them has his hand behind his back with something. Shida shoves her in the corner. They throw a few strikes. Shida with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, running dropkick, looks for a knee in the apron, but Jay blocks it. She throws the champion into the barricade, couple chokes to the chest, then drives her back into the ring. Now, as Tony Schiavone did mention, Tay Conti is not part of the Dark Order. She's just friends with Anna Jay since the tag team tournament, which was a crock of shit, by the way. Outside of those two and one or two and the winners, the rest of it was just crap. Anyway, Anna Jay is pretty much it's an even match pretty much for the most part. But Anna Jay then goes over to Conti and is like, get it. So Conti grabs a chair and says, no, you don't need this. So they're fighting back and forth. Anna Jay eventually gets the chair. It was all a distraction as the ref grabs the chair and takes it away. The guy who having the arm behind his back was actually holding Shida's kendo stick. I don't know why she didn't have it, they had a kendo stick. And cracks her in the leg, locks in, she gets a 2 count, but doesn't get it all. Doesn't get the win. Queenslayer locked in on Shida, but Shida is able to roll out and get to it. Hit with the low forearm to the head. Shida tries for a suplex. Jay counters that into a close 3. Shida ducks a clothesline, straight jack and German suplex, forearm shot to the back, cover 2. Shida hits a running knee to face, cover 1, 2, 3, and Shida retains the championship. Now, this was a fantastic match. These two women did what they could. Yes, the first time these two met, back in April, Anna Jay only had 7 matches under her belt. 7! So she's had, 10 since then? So I'd say 17 matches in her career. I don't know what her actual record is, but she's only had a handful of matches. She hasn't even had 30 matches in her career, if I'm correct. She still has a long way to go before she's ready for the AEW Women's Championship. You had JR say, well, last time these two met, she was not ready for the spotlight. She's ready now. And I'm like, I don't know about that, JR. Just because she's much improved, she's a part of the Dark Order, and she's doing well, she's not ready for this. This is the sad truth about this Nobody's on Hikaru Shida's level. Nobody is good enough to take that title away from her. Nobody on this roster could match Hikaru Shida. That sucks right now. They have women who are going to get there eventually, but nobody, and I mean nobody, should be taking that championship away until they are at the level of Hikaru Shida. Britt Baker sure as hell will never be there. Neither will, and like Big Swole will be there maybe eventually, but it's going to take a while. Then, she's celebrating on the stage, and we hear Abaddon's music. Where the hell has she been? I think she was injured, but she's back. She's crawling, dripping blood from her mouth. Shida falls back in fear, dropping the title. Abaddon grabs the title, then takes it and licks it, and the look of shock and horror on Shida's face is priceless. So obviously, the next challenger, or next person going for the AEW Women's Championship is going to be Abaddon. So this is also another rematch from, I believe, April as well. Back when they were in the Nightmare Factory wrestling matches, or like taping shows, where Shida took on Anna Jay, and I believe she also took on Abaddon. Or was it before that? I know they had one match before. Maybe that was before we had the Scandemic. I can't remember. All I know is this is not the first time these two will face off either. So, backstage, we go to Big Money Matt. Big Money Matt makes his next appearance. He talks about being the most innovative wrestler in history, and he talks about 2020 being a tough year. But if I can get through it, every one of you can. I want to inspire people to fight on. If he can live through an insurmountable odds, so can everyone else with their mundane pedestrian lives. He then implores fans to consider what would Matt do anytime you face adversity. Survive, thrive, and win. So, they do a promo for the Battle Royal again next week. And then we get a Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, and Hobbs talk about Taz leaving. Starks says, You crossed the line, Cody. We love being here. Tony Khan, TK takes care of us. He pays us well. He puts us in the main event spots. But he hates Cody and thinks his paper-thin ego gets in the way, especially when he's mad about losing to the group last week. They hype up the tag match for next week against Cody and Darby Allin, and they're going to whip their asses, they say. The Butcher and the Blade with the Bunny, and of course Eddie Kingston on commentary, which, my God, does Eddie Kingston putting a positive to that commentary booth. Jericho and Eddie Kingston should be the guys who run the third show. Whatever that show is going to be, whatever they're going to do for another show, it should be Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho on commentary, because my God, are those two always livening it up. But, of course, this is a continuation of what's been going on between Eddie Kingston and Pac. And Beach Break is going to be the next special episode of AEW's show. Next week, of course, next week is Winter is Coming. January, we're going to have Beach Break, unless things change, which I doubt it. But Beach Break, and then, of course, Revolution in February. Do they have the steam to keep this until Beach Break? I don't know. But they have, like, you have Pac versus the Blade, Pac in then versus the Butcher and the Blade. Then you could have Pentagon and Pac versus the Butcher and the Blade. Then you can have Phoenix and Pentagon versus Eddie Kingston and the Butcher or something. You can have so many combinations of things. They could have Death Triangle versus Butcher, Blade, and Eddie Kingston. So many things they can do for this feud. And, of course, now people are wondering who would win this match. Because, I'll say this now. Pac can brawl with the best of them. Yes, during the beginning of this match, Phoenix and Pac just go crazy luchador style over these guys. They're going high-flying, everything. But there is a moment in this match when it's Butcher, it's Blade, and Pac, and they are just throwing haymakers at each other, beating the hell out of each other. But when we get to the end of the match, Blade gets back in, Pac getting destroyed in the corner, Dr. Bomb by Blade covers Phoenix with a kick to the back of Blade. Butcher dumps Phoenix out of the ramp, Phoenix with a blind tag boot to the Blade's face. More kicks by Pac and Phoenix. Pac going to fight off the Butcher. Bunny distracts the ref. Kingston runs down the ring and crotches Phoenix on the top turnbuckle. And you're probably wondering, where is Pentagon? Why didn't Pentagon do anything? Well, he got taken out by the Butcher. Butcher and Blade with the powerbomb cutter for the pinfall and the win. Is it bad that Pac lost his second match back after last week? Won last week? Yeah, no, it's fine. This thing's far from over. Eddie Kingston versus Pac is going to happen soon. Well, like I said, will it be at Beach Break? More than likely. AEW every month, hopefully, still going to start doing this in March and April and June and July as well as September. Give us one of these pay-per-view quality shows with a name like they did. I know they did in June and July, but they didn't do one in March because, of course, the scamdemic shit. Maybe they had something. That's what Blood and Guts was supposed to be, and we didn't get it, unfortunately. But yeah. After the match, Death Triangle gets beat up by Kingston and his family. Bunny grabs a chair and Kingston takes it. Kingston nails Pac with a DDT on the chair. He's like, oh, let's go one more. Picks him up, hits another DDT. He's like, you know what? I know you love it, but we're going to do one more. Goes to do another one. All of a sudden, Lance Archer music hits. He runs out, dives onto the Butcher, rolling them into the ring. And it was the Butcher. And he just goes ham on everybody in the ring. And he goes for Eddie Kingston. And of course, he's going after Eddie Kingston, so the Butcher and the Blade come after him. Then the Lucha Bros attack them. And Eddie's pretty much dead to rights because Lance Archer is going to beat the shit out of him. Archer goes for something, but Kingston finally gets out of the ring. He heads up towards the stands with everybody, with the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny, and you see Archer in the ring talking to him, talking trash. Eddie Kingston versus Pac will be happening soon, eventually. But Eddie, I think you forgot about somebody. You were talking so much shit on Lance Archer for a good while, and now Lance Archer is coming to take you out. If you've been watching Dark, Lance Archer has been making many threats to take out Eddie Kingston and hurt Eddie Kingston. And he's like, you know what? I haven't been on TV in a while. I think it's time for me to go remind everybody who the hell I am, and I'm going to make Eddie Kingston pay. Eddie Kingston bitched so much because he didn't lose the Battle Royal. Well, I'm going to make him regret those words. And that's where they're going here. So, to get us, that's another stopgap. Because, yes, Eddie Kingston, Eddie Kingston in a normal one-on-one match is not the best wrestler out there. He's not one of the best. He's a little subpar in the ring. That's not his strength. It's always been his promo, and it's always going to be his promo. But Eddie Kingston is about ready to go to war with the Murder Hawk Monster. And we'll see where this goes with them. Eddie Kingston can do two things in his career when his in-ring career is done, which honestly, it's slowing down and he doesn't wrestle that much, which is fine. He's going to be either a manager full-time or he's going to be on commentary. Just saying. But Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that match next week, even though we have a pretty big thing. We have the World Heavyweight Championship match. We have Britt Baker versus Layla Hirsch, which I feel bad for Layla Hirsch. You have Kazarian versus Chris Jericho. The Dynamite Diamond Ring and Battle Royal. And so much more next week. Next week is going to be huge. Oh yeah, we also have Hobbs and Starks versus Cody and Darby. Now, I wish they would have the title, like a title match. It's like, what's Brian Cage doing? Why doesn't Brian Cage put that title on the line? He wants respect, like Taz wants respect for that championship. Have it put on the line next week. And we have so much more to go. I cannot wait till next week. Next week is going to be good. There's only 3 more episodes of AEW this year. Yes, I said 3 because the 23rd, for whatever reason, even though it's not Christmas, they're not going to be on TV. Why? I don't know why. Maybe that's the start of the NBA season. I think that's the start of the NBA season this year, and they're not going to be able to have it on TV, which they could always put it on TBS for all I care. But yeah, that is all this week. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on Twitch.tv. Find me on Parler at The France Club. Fuck Twitter. Find me on Twitch.tv/The France Club. Find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I'll see you guys Friday for the post-SmackDown edition, post-Survivor Series edition of SmackDown on Fox. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.